Hey, RetconRaider here, with special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Matthew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Solasta, Lost Valley, as the adventure continues. And, after giving it some thought, I think we are going to hold off on pursuing the Rebels questline any further. I mean, we could easily do it. We've taken out a number of outposts thus far, and knocking over 3 more wouldn't be too difficult. It would just be repetitive and time-consuming. And honestly, I ran a poll over on Patreon not too long ago to see which of the factions that the Raiders were actually all that invested in. And yeah, the Rebels were the second lowest in the results. Just barely above Dominion, who got 0 votes. So I feel like we can pretty safely say we're not siding with the Rebels anyway. So rather than waste time on knocking over all those outposts, we'll just focus on other things instead. What I would like to actually do today is follow up on the Masked. Not because we'll be siding with them either. They were right towards the middle of the poll. But more because I am very intrigued by what we just learned from the Rebels, which is that the Masked are supposedly led by Marin Ving, the random criminal that we were sent into the valley to capture in the first place. And after 20 plus episodes of just kind of roaming around, I would very much like to sort of tie off that loose end, if at all possible. That said, yeah, we'll head for Kaer Hifrid. We'll go ahead and frame that poor innkeeper and just kind of hope for the best there, just to see if we can get a face-to-face with Marin Ving. And if the opportunity presents itself, maybe even take him down. Oh, Shambling Mounds. I think we'll skip that one. We already took one down and we outclassed it pretty heavily. Apparently those things are only challenge rating 5. Yeah, I think at this point we're going to start skipping the bulk of these random encounters. Unless it's something we haven't seen before. Or if it looks particularly profitable. Much as with the Archmage encounter last week. We'll take it case by case. Honestly, we don't really need the gold at this point. I'm just crafting this stuff out of habit. Oh, Hannick's gone. Yeah, I guess he did get hung. That's sad. Well, maybe not. Maybe he went home. I will choose to believe he was let go. I will also choose to believe that I am not about to ruin the innkeeper's life. Oh, actually, I can't help but notice that's right near where Kafrane's shadow used to stand. Yeah, she would literally have to walk back and forth in front of that pot just to get from where she used to stand to where she's standing now. So in theory, she could have planted these items anytime she wanted. I mean, part of me wants to think this is like a test, like Snowfox won't actually be hurt. But, you know, at the same time, the more pragmatic part of my brain is reminding me that these are the same people who tricked us into murdering a bunch of rebels. We'll see how this plays out.
Several citizens of Caer Hifrid created trouble by shouting in the streets. They have been sentenced to a week in jail.
It's done.
Well done.
It wasn't hard at all.
Good then. Vando Clarn is expecting you. Near the city's entrance, turn left. Behind the Dominion banner, you'll find a door.
Thank you.
Oyez, oyez.
Left of the entrance, behind a banner.
For selling illegal products on the black market.
Oh yeah, there we go. And I guess that does explain the minor mystery of which faction this building belongs to. I guess I just didn't really consider it might be another masked building because I sort of associated the music hall with them once Kafrain moved over here.
Oyez, oyez.
Which now has me wondering if she might have had something to do with Hannick's arrest, just to get him out of the way so they could have this building to themselves. I would not put it past them. On the bright side, Snowfox has not immediately disappeared, so I'll take that as a good sign.
Oyez, oyez. All citizens are commanded to pay homage to the Lord Protector on his upcoming birthday. Penalties for failing to do so.
We've got a rest point and a secondary exit grid. Wonder where that goes. But first things first.
Well met.
So you are Vando Clarn?
Guilty as charged.
You going to enlighten us about your goals here?
Misaye has a design for this valley, and I am but her messenger.
Oh, a man on a mission.
Not in the way you think. Misaye loves freedom, and people like Orenetis are anathema to her.
He's powerful, though. What's your plan?
At first, it felt as hopeless as catching Misaye herself. But thanks to Kafrain, Samko, you, and some others, this holy mission is more than a forlorn hope. The strategy is simple. Divide and conquer.
And our role?
Right now, I need you to find me a way into the rebellion's headquarters. I have a map that should lead you there, but I need a thorough reconnaissance.
We're on it.
Before we go, are you Marin Ving?
I am a simple servant of Misaye. Sweet laughter to you.
That's definitely him.
So what, we grab him and drag him to Helia Fairblade?
Like we could.
If we help him overthrow Orenetis, maybe we'll get out of the valley.
Oyez, oyez. Earlier today, our brave soldiers...
Interesting. Okay, so no immediate option to confront him. But our guys are in that general mindset. They do think that he is Marin Ving, which is a step. We've got eyes on, we've got access to their headquarters here. And we were going to cut ties with the rebels anyway, so I mean, doing some recon couldn't hurt. Though it might force a confrontation in which we would have to burn our bridges with the rebels. No real loss there, aside, I guess, from any hopes that we'll ever get our hands on that Tome of Constitution. Who's this in the corner? Yasmin. Oh, a merchant. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Let's see what the masked have to offer. Nothing's really catching my eye. And that's a bag of holding. We will absolutely take that, thank you. This immediately makes it worth siding with the mask, even if just temporarily. Also, where did this come from? Beautiful cloak. How long have we had this? It's gotta be something recent. Maybe even this quest that we just turned in. And nothing else here, just poison recipes and crafting ingredients. Let's get a gander at that cloak. Oh, spider cloak, yes. We had one of those back in Crown of the Magister. That is really high-end stuff. Cloak of Arachnida. The Masters of the Darkweavers Guild were the first users of such cloaks. And it grants resistance to poison, perpetual spider climb, immunity to webs, and pass without a trace once per day. Fantastic. Yeah, we must have just gotten this from one of the mask reps. It feels very thematically appropriate for them. I mean, obviously this thing's better than almost every other item we found. Except for maybe that Cloak of Displacement and the stun hammer. So we do want to work it into our rotation. We just have to decide who actually gets it. And what they're giving up in order to make room for it. Okay, I think I've got it. We'll pull the gloves off Garvin. Those are pretty much useless now that we have the pain-sharing ability. And we will instead pass him Eben's Boots of Striding and Springing. That'll actually have the net effect of improving both of their mobilities. It'll bump Garvin up to 6 movement, while Eben retains his base 6 movement as an elf. And then Eben also gets to attack the Perpetual Spider Climb on top of that. Which I suppose means he can actually retrain Spider Climb back off of his spell list and pick something else instead. Though we'll worry about that once we hit level 11. And then the other bag of holding will go to Mora, for her ever-expanding arsenal of arcane artifacts. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's get this stuff attuned. There we go. 2 fairly substantial upgrades. Can we confront you?
Any news?
We cannot. Okay, you know what? We will do the recon mission for them. We're basically cutting ties with the rebels anyway, and this feels fairly low impact. We might balk at actually killing anyone for them, knowingly. But I would like to at least explore the quest chain a little farther. Get a better idea of who these guys are and what they're trying to accomplish. Oh, look at that. We're right across from the People's hideout. That doesn't feel like much of a coincidence. Yeah, I mean, despite claiming that they're working for Masai and trying to liberate this valley and take down Ornettis because he's a tyrant, I'm not really seeing the Masked as much of a viable alternative to Ornettis and his predations upon the populace. Although my exposure to Masai is fairly limited, I don't think she's ever really been portrayed as much of an altruistic god. And just off the top of my head, the Masked haven't shown much compunction in catching up all sorts of innocent bystanders in their scheming here. Their moves against the rebels do somewhat make sense, given that if they are in fact against tyrants, the rebels wanting to install another Manicalan monster in Ornettis' place would certainly be something they'd object to. However, our first real exposure to the Masked and their machinations was the various plots they were enacting against the Forged, who were as close to a neutral faction as you can get out here, including trying to assassinate representatives of the Forge during our trip to meet with the rebels. Not to mention, of course, the more recent apparent moves against the people, which honestly just makes it sound more like they're trying to eliminate all other potential contenders for the throne, as opposed to simply deposing Ornettis. Ultimately, based on the feedback from that first poll, it's sounding like we're probably going to end up siding with the Forged, the people, or maybe no one. Surprisingly, that got a lot of traction on the poll as well. Just sort of grabbing Marin Ving and getting out of the valley and leaving this place to burn. Oh, land sharks. Okay. And a murder of giant crows. That's an interesting mix. You know what? I think we will do this one. We caught a single stray bullet before, but we trashed it pretty quickly. This might make for a slightly more satisfying skirmish. Oh yeah, this looks promising. Alright, we've got 3 bullets arrayed in front of us. The bridge acts as a natural choke point. I imagine they can't burrow, but I guess we'll see how that works. And then we have a murder of crows at our back and flank. They, of course, are not limited by choke points. First things first, we're going to buy ourselves some breathing room. Let's go twinned hold.
Solasta, Encho, Malmis.
Nice. That buys us some time. We still have to deal with the other bullet and the impending murder, though. We'll have Spiegel and Thygor choke point on the bridge, block that last bullet. We'll get Leyrin tucked in behind Mora. And then we'll have Garvin and Eben on the flank and rear. These guys are flyers, no point in thorns.
Natura Encho Malmi.
I guess I could have gone Wall of Fire, but that would have made this platform pretty claustrophobic. That guy just straight cannonballed us. I was not expecting that. Alright, so it looks like that. Body slammed Thygor out of the way, almost to his death. And the Bullet is now on top of Spiegel and adjacent to both Mora and Leyren. That is not great.
Solasta, Evo, Malmis.
But it does highlight how lucky we were to get that early double hold. Otherwise, it would be literally raining bullets.
I won't miss next time.
And here comes the murder. First one stunned on approach.
Walk it off.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to stop doing that, please. If we lose concentration on Hold Monster, then this will escalate very quickly.
Natura conjo malmis.
Nice, he bolted. That is one less threat to worry about. All right, Eben, we need you up front.
That's battle.
Well, it's stunned. And almost dead. And mind bullets.
Solasta, Encho, Malmis. You lose.
That'll do. Thank you, Mora. Thank goodness those crows are featherweights.
I win again.
You know what, Leyren? Why don't you just go over here? Bullets are 2 by 2. I'm not sure they could even reach her there. Maybe diagonally. We'll move our Stormfront up.
Natura conjo malmis.
Nice, nice. Solid hit. Oh, and that one just broke hold. So let's get the fighters in there. Yeah, we need to lock that thing down before it gets the jump on us.
Arcana, Conjo, Viribe.
Let's expedite this with a twin guided.
Solasta, Evo, Valmis. Light at last.
Yeah, we'll take it. I think we're good now, but I'm honestly not sure what to really expect from these things now. That cannonball run just came completely out of left field. That is not what I think of when I think of land sharks. One attack, okay. Would have expected more from something with so many limbs.
Death claims you.
Solasta, Evo, Valmis. More coming your way.
And we are done. With Spiegel getting the last lick in. Good for him. Gotta say, that was actually pretty invigorating. Individually, these guys were nothing we couldn't handle, but that cannonball move just came out of nowhere. And I'm pretty sure if you get knocked off the bridge on this map, that is instant death. But there are a lot of ways that could have gone a whole lot worse for us, like if the hold monster spell hadn't stuck, or if it had dropped when that one crow started going after Mora, or if that one unheld bullet had decided to jump a bit deeper in the party and just instantly crushed Leyrin to death. Obviously not much in the way of loot. I think this is all just vendor trash. But I am glad we came in here. That was an interesting fight. On we go. I guess the shortcut works. I'm assuming just entering this place will advance our quest. Oh, okay. The Rebel HQ. That's specifically the little courtyard where we met Alaria. Hey, don't mind us, just passing through. And away we go. Not the most exciting of quests, but I'm glad we got in and out without any drama. I would like to stay cordial with the rebels. We're obviously not going to finish things in their favor, but no need to burn that bridge unless we have to. Air elementals. Not a particularly interesting fight, but I bet we can finish this in less than 3 minutes. If we can land a double banish. Actually, I think we can do a heightened double banish. Okay, thorns and lightning, both completely pointless here. So we will go with a wall of fire. That should work.
Natura Evo Clippe.
Maybe I should have put it right on top of all of them. Oh well. And double heightened banish.
Solasta Abio Malmis.
Thank you, Mora. Now we just have to pick off the stragglers. We'll let them make the approach. Goodbye, Leyren.
Natura Encho Malmis.
Solasta Evo Malmis.
Go to hell.
Thygor. Nice. Eben with the follow-up.
Wait till the next one.
Very nice. Very nice. And yeah, it looks like that took us about 3 minutes. Given that we still get full credit for successfully banished targets, I'd say that was well worth the detour. Onward, my friends. All right, Ving, what have you got for us? Oh, and look at that. Kafrane's back in her usual spot, and Snowfox seems to be fine. So I guess this all worked out. Gotta say, aside from the murder and the scheming and whatnot, these guys might not actually be all that bad.
Clear skies.
Sweet laughter to you. Any news?
It's done.
Wonderful news! Messiah smiles upon us. My friends, I had an interesting visit.
Pray tell.
Our Lady of Luck has granted me a vision. Unworthy as I am, she favored me.
And what was this vision about?
I saw a cave near the Forge Camp, where you first met Samko Flint. Within, there is an abandoned sanctuary where Messiah was worshipped long ago. Go there and clear the way for me.
So you need bodyguards?
Yes,
Given that your life is in the balance and it seems you really need us...
fine. I know what you're going to ask. Yes, I am Marin Ving.
Can't believe it.
I was starting to think you were just a fable.
Or a Sorak.
Oh, please. So, let's make a deal. Help me rid this valley of Orinetis, and I'll go back to Masgarth with you, as the new ruler of the valley.
Sounds like you want diplomatic immunity or something.
Well, our dear princess wouldn't arrest the leader of a neighboring sovereign state. Not in time of war.
We could just take you back by force.
But you won't.
Oh, look at that. And here we are, moment of truth. It turns out you can flip on Marin Ving. I mean, I knew they had to have a moment like that somewhere in their quest arc, but I was worried they might have tucked it all the way at the end after you take down Orinetis for him. This wasn't too bad. We're not too far into it, I think. The only faction we would have burned would be the rebels at this point, if the reputation loss hadn't bugged out when we took that outpost. I think that mysterious door back in the ruined temple is also linked to the escort quest he was just proposing, so that theoretically answers another question as well. That said, now that we know this is in fact Marin Ving, and we know his general motivation, I have no real compunction in taking these guys down. He basically just told us that he destabilized the entire region and started targeting all of these various bystanders as part of a plan to essentially turn all the factions on each other, to thus clear a path so that he could take the throne, largely just to avoid being arrested for his crimes back in the Principality. Something tells me this guy would not make a better ruler than Orinetis, and that's really saying something. Mora?
Just watch us.
Ah, Messiah's laughing at me now.
Oyez, oyez. All newcomers in the city must present themselves at the high gate to
Alright, let's see here. Oh, Kafrane's here. Wow, she moves quick. I also noticed the vendor is gone. You know, aside from Vando, I'm not really seeing much in the way of serious threats here. Let's go for a multi-hold.
Solasta, Encho, Malmis.
Lovely. Kafrane's still up, but she's last in the queue. Let's try knocking out Vando's support first. He might surrender if we knock out all his allies.
Natura Conjo Malmis.
Modest success.
And that's Kafrane. Quest failed. Fair enough.
Go! Kill them all!
Yeah, that's the plan. Oh, shoot. Vando's back in. Laren, why don't you wait outside? We'll finish the fighter. See if that gets us anywhere.
Crush him.
I guess not. Which means we are doing this. Sorry, Vando.
Solasta, Encho, Malmis.
Vando's reheld. Still hoping he might give up, but I'm not holding my breath.
That's the way.
Hey, he got out again. Good for him.
Take that.
Never mind. He's dead.
Solasta, Evo, Malmis.
Keep them coming.
Oyez, oyez. Our Lord Protector wishes to remind you all that fighting in the streets of his capital is strictly prohibited. Those who contravene the law will be punished.
You know what? That's fair. I can't really complain about that one. That one actually feels kind of reasonable. So no quest pop-ups or anything when we dropped Vando. That is slightly disconcerting. I noticed we also didn't lose rep with the masked. Did they? I wonder if the devs just didn't assume anyone would pick this option and they didn't set it right? Because, well, no, I mean, they did account for the characters dying. That's why we failed the quest. But it did not update our main quests, which both involve Marin Ving as well. That doesn't feel right. I'm a little worried I might have broken something now.
Oyez. Last night, several citizens of Caer Hivrid
But I will certainly help myself to his possessions. And that said, we'll just roll with it regardless of whether or not that was intended to happen. I mean, they gave me the option. I took it. I have few regrets there, aside from the fact that it might have broken something in the quest tracking. Though, who knows? Maybe he's not actually dead. Maybe there is a real Marin Ving out there somewhere. and this was just a body double or a decoy or something. Plus, you know, even though this wasn't much of a fight, we did get some halfway decent loot here. Stuff we might actually use. That cloak, that ring. And a bag of holding. Wow, I don't remember picking that up, but we must have just gotten it. So that gives us a full set of 4 bags of holding. Very nice.
Natura Divo Oculus.
Oyez! Oyez! This morning, a Revenant was hanged for sedition.
Okay, so nothing else, just the magnificent dagger. I'm thinking we'll swap out the Stone of Good Luck. And maybe Thygor's Amulet?
For his upcoming birthday. Penalties for failing to do so will be severe.
Solasta Divo Oculus!
+2 dagger, no big deal. And hey, we've still got a free place to rest. In fact, I guess this whole house is ours now, isn't it? Plus the mansion up in the mid-city. Not too shabby. Our murder hobos are moving up in the world. Oh, you know what? I bet if we had continued following their quest line, then Snowfox would have been arrested. That's probably why they've got a free rest point here, even though there's an inn right around the corner. But because we exited when we did, we prevented that event from happening. In theory. Which I guess does make sense. You know, there's no one left to tip off Ornetis' forces to the idea that that Snowfox is some sort of ne'er-do-well. So, yes, all's well that ends well. And we got a free house. 2 free houses. That said, a bit of a shorter episode today, but I feel like this is a good place to call it. We've officially burned our bridges with both the Dominion and the Masked, which means at this point, unless we decide to go clear those outposts for the rebels, all that's left is to set our sights on the mysterious, secret complex that everyone seems so interested in, which I imagine is going to kick us into our final endgame arc. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of all this bookkeeping off screen, make our final preparations, and we will pick up here next time as we take care of a complex situation and usher in the end of an era here in Lost Valley.
were arrested yesterday.
See you then.
Lord Protector reminds you all that Dominion reserves cannot be plundered.
Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Solasta Lost Valley, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official websites. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon, or the new YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Ah, Messiah's laughing at me now.